I'd like to call this meeting order. Would you take roll, please?
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Yes, here.
Yes. Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Here.
Mr. Beasley.
Here.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Yes. Right now, stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get a motion to approve the adoption of the agenda for tonight?
I'll move.
I'll second. Any discussion? You take roll, please?
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yes.
Mr. Beasley.
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Yes. Jackie, can you please speak up? Oh, I'm sorry. Now can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings, the work session from February 10th and the regular meeting from February 18th? I'll move. I'll second. Any discussion? You take roll, please?
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yes.
Mr. Beasley.
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Yes. All right, we have one public participation for a agenda question. Julie?
Yeah, I just have one question. Thanks for, good evening. Thank you for having me. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to get out. I really just wanted to know though, in the, well, two things. One is please consider getting microphones because you still can't hear on the recording either. Jackie, mostly you and Mr. Nutter, because you guys, when he was sitting here, you talked to. Anyhow, it would be nice if there were microphones so everybody could hear and you could hear better on tape. The second thing was, it didn't say in the agenda for the people that were getting hired, if they were new positions or replacements that had been going pretty well in there where they were added, so we know, and they were not in this time. So just again, if you could maybe get those back in there so we know who's new and who's a replacement. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Just to let people know, course descriptions, calendars, some few scheduling changes will be, I want to work on those. There's a few things I need to finalize over spring break. So it'll be a nice time for me to get all that completed. So I'll have all that, we may ask for a special meeting in early April just to get some things finalized, but those, we've got 2 meetings scheduled already for April. So like I said, calendars, course descriptions, all that will be there, but I can tell you that as far as the calendars go, there will be no calendar submitted that starts before the fair is over. So we will recognize the fact that the Miami County Fair will be completed before we start school. So there's a few other minor things, but I just want to make sure we got them all ironed out before we get there. We're still ahead of the game. I mean, we've got a 2-year calendar and then course descriptions and get April, and hope to have everything finished for next year as we head into next month, which is several months ahead of where we were last year. So it's good. So I think you're good. Student recognition. I just want to recognize we had the National Technical Honor Society induction. We had kids from Bethel. I just want to recognize them. Grant Arnold, Malik Benali, and I apologize if I mess up your names. Adeline Etherington, Nicholas Kors, Eliana Larkins, Lillian Mahelkic, Toby Sodders, and Lakin Watkins. So congratulations to them. There will be a ceremony Sunday, March 23rd. If anybody's then headed over there. So congrats to those kids. We'll recognize them too. I'm going to have this put on the website or on our socials to make sure that they get recognized as well. Bethel High School Creative Writing Team. We were the Just Right Ohio Regional Grand Champions. Tiffany Moore received first place in overall in Division II, and the Division I team took second place, and the Division II team took second place. So congratulations. Good stuff. And what's that?
I'll try to go sit
Congratulations, Bryson Neal, 8th grader. He won the spelling bee here at the middle school, and he also participated at the spelling bee at Wright State. So good for him. And also, Cage Schweikart, finished 6th place indoor state track meet for the 800-meter run. So a lot of good things going on. I'll get those on the website and we'll push those out, but I want to recognize them here tonight. So thank you. Important dates. Tomorrow we had this conversation, professional development day. No kids tomorrow. We'll be doing aptitude training for the staff. Some classified, I know, have some other meetings as well. But certified staff will be training on aptitude. So for all you parents out there, or guardians, that you'll have to only learn one platform now. So from a communication tool, you learn in elementary, it's the same in middle school and high school. So you have to keep changing everything. Common sense. So we're trying. So that's what we do. Thursdays, parent teacher conferences, 3:30 to 7. Monday, March 24th through March 28th. Just a reminder, it's spring break. The district is closed and there are no classes for kids on the 31st. And then we get back after that. Short window and then off for summer. It'll go quick.
Really nice.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Treasurer's report?
Yes, let's go to the general fund report. Good. Now, your reporting processes that are colored reports come from a company that you're working with, contracted with. So we finish the monthly reports as far as the general, we send information up to them. They later send us back to you. And that's the process you have. I won't say that this is my favorite format, but that's what you got. So we will deal with it. So what you have is the overall estimates for budget 24-25. The next column is simply dividing it by 12 and multiplying by 8. There's no real special methodology there, and I was a little surprised when I talked to the vendor about that. To me, that's not all that helpful on certain line items, particularly, real estate taxes is a good example. Because last year at this time, you'd received 1.771 million, or 1.776 million. You received 1.771 million this year. That's really what you kind of should be looking at. And the way I would normally go about this is we would do a financial forecast, then we would take that and we would look for each month in the fiscal year, and we'd make estimates based upon trend data. And so we'll be returning to that kind of format. That's a good process to have. Your actual software system allows you to do. It just takes a little work. And so that's what we'll be working towards. I will say we will be reporting out to you next month the real estate taxes because we were just looking at them in the office. So the payment in lieu of tax amounts and the real estate taxes have just hit. And we're starting to look at that and get the information ready for the staff to post that. Again, there are no real surprises here. When you get into the expenditure side, you're going to have higher costs than a year ago. You gave significant raises. No reason to believe that's trending any differently. One of the main things we're going to be doing next in our work, and that's going to be starting this week, going into next week, and probably beyond, is we're going to look at financial forecasts line by line. Where are you trending? Because we got to get ready for the May forecast update. So we're not saying anything's right or wrong with forecast right now. Just like we don't know, because we can get in there and really dig into the numbers. I will say that the books were in good shape as far as being reconciled. That didn't take long. Staff jumped right in there. One of them in particular wanted to reconcile the general ledger. So that's great. That trains them up. Any questions that person had, we worked through them. So you're reconciled when we go to the bank reconciliation here in a minute, within $1.80. When you're within $1.80, you're exactly divisible by 9. It was $1.80 last month when I looked at it. Both those numbers exactly divisible by 9, which means somebody fat fingered something and transposed it somewhere. Am I going to go chasing for $1.08? No, we're gonna watch it for a month and shoot a month or two and see if we come up with the same variance each month. So I was pleased with that. Your payroll account reconciled very easily, and I will say that is not the case in most school districts. I go into trouble with school districts in terms of finances in a lot of cases. That's not the case here. And I see those types of problems all over the place. So that was good from that standpoint. The monthly financial report. Again, we'll get this changed. I'll get my interim title on that. We send this off, and I know what happened here. Because I know the person, individual that does this work. It's a treasurer that in the evenings he'll do this and send it back to you. He simply took turning off the money. As soon as I looked at it, as soon as I saw it, and someone brought it to my attention, I looked at it and said, yeah, that's what they did. So, and we really don't need to go through these. You've received these close to a week ago. And there's some very quick comments on revenues. How they're currently running about 1.6 million higher than a year ago. It's not your local taxes. We just talked about those being pretty close. Income tax collections about 175,000 better than a year ago. It's the state funding that's running 1.257 million. It'll be a combination. You get increased enrollment in this district, and you got second year of biennium being phased in this year. So I don't necessarily anticipate to find a problem there, but we'll see as we go through the forecast. Salaries and benefits, again, they are coming in higher, not necessarily higher than we would anticipate at this point. And it's a combination. And the increased salaries overall, you also have some positions. And that is the big thing on that side. Let's see, looking at, let's go out of that. Well, there you go. The cash summary report. This is one I like boards to really understand and take some time to look at. Another thing that Jenny and I will be working on in the coming weeks here is dormant accounts. In fact, I've already given Jetta an assignment on how to go through and a tool as far as the software is concerned, on how to go through and run reports by fund special cost center. Fund special cost centers, those 7 numbers under fund, the first 3 of the fund, the next 4 special cost center. And we're going to be looking for where you have no activity, especially when we down to the 19th. But I look at this just for instance, you've got general fund, Bureau of Workers' Comp surplus refund. Why? Is a question. Why would we keep that pulled out for any particular reason? It doesn't necessarily make sense to me. A Pepsi Cola donation that's been sitting out there for some time. So I'm going to be interested when she does that report. How long ago was that donated? How long has it been dormant? Is there a plan for that? If not, then why don't we just have it up into the general fund overall? And then budget reserve fund. And again, why on that one? Because they're not required anymore. And even if there is a calculation, you've got money sitting down in the permanent improvement fund. I would look at the calculation and see what we do in the permanent improvement fund isn't going to cover it. So when we get into, let's slide down to the 019s. The 019s are feather grades. You got 2 pages of them. You got some of these, they got a penny in them, some, you probably got 20 or more that have less than $50 in them. And so that's where I'm really interested when she goes and it's going to be a rather simple report that goes out and it looks by month for 5 years. Receipts or disbursements, it's that simple. Getting balance, receipts, disbursements, ending balance. And if I got 0 sitting in the middle columns for a few years, then we know, perhaps we don't need this. And how do we appropriately close these out and just take off the books? They're not the biggest thing, they're more of an irritation thing that just needs to be cleaned up over time. From there, you'll get into the 200 and 300 funds. That's going to be district managed and student managed activities. We like to see everything have positive cash balance. Generally, that's the case. I'm not seeing too much. I got one account down there for 392.10. Looks like that's a small issue. So overall, not bad. You're gonna see negative account balances down in 400 and 500, because it's a reimbursement basis. So we've got to run through and do our cash requests and get that back from the state. But that's just a normal process. Overall, at the very bottom of this report is a number. 12,314,993.41. And remember it, go to the bank reconciliation. Down at the bottom of the bank reconciliation. 12,314,993.41. Just some quick check as a superintendent or a board member. Do those two numbers match? If they don't, why? And that outstanding deposit of $1.08, that's what I'm talking about. And that's the one thing we just don't know exactly what it is right now. We'll continue to monitor that. I think it'll show itself, or worst case scenario, go $1.08 in the bank and move on. But we're not going to waste a lot of staff time on something like that. Backing back out. I think that takes care of that particular piece of it. I do give you the detailed check registers, and a couple of those have been pulled off. So, you know, they're provided there. If you have any questions about them, certainly give us a call. We've got significant documentation for each individual expenditure kept out on your SCView software. It's a nice package. So anytime you have a question on it, I did change this to a report only, not an approval. Because if you, as a board, say, no, don't approve the check register, well, what am I supposed to do? Those are out the door.
It's a done deal.
It's not going to be able to do anything about it. So certainly as an informational piece, that's not a problem. The amended certificate of available resources. We were looking at, or those have been out there in the previous months. We went ahead and did this as of the end of February. So this brings us up to date. It's not something the two of us would normally do every month. Generally, what I want to see on appropriation modifications to the general fund throughout the year, as much as possible, let's do some net zeros. Meaning if we're going to move, especially if we're in a building or department, if you want to move your money around in your building, have at it. And stay within your appropriation, and let's set them right to begin. So we'll send the amended certificate, and that can change from time to time. You get additional information and additional receipts and various little funds. And so, you know, once in a while that will occur throughout the year. And so those are just certificates that are required by the state. They went to the county auditor's office, and we recommend those for approval. The next one is the tax year 2025 amounts and rates certification. And you go through a tax budget process, you would have done back probably in December, maybe they were their still meeting. And you submit that to the county, they go through and do their thing, and then they come back with this certificate that by law you need to approve it. That's their estimate of what the amounts and rates are going to be for the coming year. The next item doesn't have the tax, but we'll look at that. And this was on one of your previous meeting agendas that is full. But you do have a Tip City grant, $1,500, or correctly, money is in, but we do need to establish that fund. Then in now certification, there was one that was over $3,000. You did have a different process that was looking at a lot of stuff. I don't do that. The board requirement is, or the state requirement is more than $3,000. And we need approval. It's under $3,000. As the purchase order comes back, treasurer can approve it. And we've worked with the staff and given them some guidance and shown them, you know, how that process works. And in actuality, every purchase order we generate has a then announcement in the bottom left-hand corner. So it's automatically done. It takes care of those things under $3,000. I would entertain any questions you might have. I can read through it.
So I did have a couple of questions and I apologize for not putting them in my email earlier today, but I didn't have it in front of me, so. So I was curious how we can have open enrollment revenue when we don't have open enrollment.
Where are we looking at?
It was in there. I don't know.
Well, no, it's a title, so tuition, so on their particular report, they use tuition and open enrollment. Yeah, you don't have open enrollment, you got tuition. So it's just, he's using a standardized reporting process.
Okay,
I'm guessing it's probably been out there for quite a while.
okay, it just looked like there was money in there, but. we don't have
Yeah, it would be the
that.
tuition piece, because there will be tuition dollars that flow through the state foundation payments. Naturally, that happen. That's just what we have to post.
Gotcha. Okay, and then, we have a monthly expense for carriage trail storage. Do we know what that's for?
Say $100,
It's $100.
right? That would be for the athletic department, sometimes storage area.
Okay, and same for hotspot. Do we need hotspot?
Hotspot would be a technology issue.
Yes,
How about this guy back here? You go.
Oh, right, yes, I do know what that is. We originally got a hotspot, back when we were having some issues when I very first got here, with the ticketing, ticket gate over at the old stadium, because we didn't have, Wi-Fi there. That had then got fixed. Athletics still uses it, from time to time for, various things. Right now, they're using it out at the baseball field. So, it's a, Damon's usually pretty much the main person in charge of it, and just kind of uses it when needed, but he uses it pretty frequently.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Mhm.
That's all I had.
Anybody else have any questions? Could I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda for the treasurer's report? I'll move. Oh, okay. Any discussion? We did move, please?
This is last one.
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Beal,
Yes.
Mr. Kibble.
Yes.
Classified personnel recommendations?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to recommend the board unpaid leave for Sonae Igun, Wendy Gabarlo, Charlie Hobbs, and Melissa Matthews Morgan. Also like to recommend Kenneth Brown. We move him from substitute bus driver to substitute bus aide. Due to the fact that he needs to complete the training in a timely manner. Did not. I think the resignation of Sonia Yilmaz, she will be resigning. And she was obviously the Bethel Middle School ELL aide. That job has been posted for next year already. So, what I have classified.
Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda for classified personnel?
I'll move.
A second.
Any discussion? You can do it, please. Wait, oh, sorry. Could I just slow down?
I just didn't hear, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
What did you say about, Ken Brown? He did not finish his
Training, he did not finish his training in a timely manner, therefore he's transferred to the aide position.
rich. And, is he gonna continue and try to finish that training?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we short of bus driver then now?
No.
Okay.
Any more discussion? We can go, please.
Mr. Leskowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Butler,
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Beal,
Yes.
Mrs. Kibble.
Yes.
Right now we have recommendations for certified personnel.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to recommend to the board, Sarah Hufford be a fifth grade long-term substitute. Lauren Riffle be a elementary school substitute. Sarah Hufford will now substitute for Lauren Grayley on maternity leave. Glad you're here, Gary. You got a lot of movement over there. And Lauren Riffle was a student teacher for Miss Holly Hughes, who can sub for her as her cooperating teacher. So that's the rundown on that. Like I So we've had several maternity leaves and things moving around this year. It's been busy. Student teacher stipends, recommend Mindy Campbell, Holly Hughes, Cynthia Parrish, and Tyler Spears. This is simply, they take teachers in, from Wright State, so that's the flow through. We appreciate that. To all the staff and to, Wright State, worked out well. And then receive the payment for the student teacher stipends. We reduce, which reduces the payment by employer cost, pay the difference to the teachers, Wright State University payment for student teachers, $600. Those are and I'd also like to do the science reading stipends. If you remember back in, I think it was December. Mindy, was that December? The last
Yes.
round?
Yes. First round, yes.
Yeah, so the first round was the science and reading stipends, and now this is the second round of the science and reading stipends that everybody's did their training, we got their certificates. It's basically a flow through account, but the list is attached. And then supplemental contracts. Approve the following recommendations. If you look, we've got a resignation from wrestling for the assistant junior high coach. So Chet Atkins was the assistant junior high coach, and his letter of resignation is here. He says, I'm resigning the position as junior high assistant baseball coach in order to accept the junior varsity assistant baseball coach. But if you look at this spreadsheet here, the additions are assistant junior varsity coach. He'll be returning, which is Chet Atkins. The assistant junior high coach is new, not a new position, new coach. And then you've got the 2 volunteers. Is that format easier to read?
Can we add a line whether or not it's a new position?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, like I said,
I think it is helpful to show that the person is
the
returning.
person is new. There's
versus
nothing, there's no
new.
position is new on this one.
The whole position is new?
No, just the
Right.
coach is new.
Right, so I think that's sometimes where I get confused, and
We can work on it.
I appreciate putting in who's leaving and then
Yeah.
who's coming, so
All right.
that is more clear for me.
We can put, we can just add a column, new coach or new position.
If he could change that, because I felt like this was a lot of movement in that, and then it says.
Sometimes there's too much
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah.
Less is more.
This is definitely more, so this is
what he reposted.
This is what he reposted, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll work on it, but it's, they're all in accordance with the BA contracts.
But then we would see if there are new coaching supplementals that are coming on as well.
Correct. Yeah, we can add that. We can just add a column.
Thank you.
And then, leave without pay, 5th grade, ELA just 1 day. And that's what I have for the consent agenda for certified. Thank you.
So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda for certified personnel?
I'll move, Rachel.
I'll second.
Natalie.
I'll second. Natalie.
That's great, but all my notes are about last night.
Any discussion?
I was just gonna ask, if the format that, Ms. Ripples, the educator summary, where'd that come from? It's something new that I hadn't seen before. Do you know what system that's generated out of, or?
Can you answer that, Carrie? The Riffle, the educator system, is that from the college?
I think so, yeah. I haven't seen what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
It wasn't the traditional like resume like we would see, and I'm assuming that's because she's a student teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be my guess, but I'd have to look at it to know for sure.
If she is a student teacher, yeah.
And so she would only sub for like her cooperating teacher. She's not subbing anywhere else. Just if her cooperating teacher is out, she's allowed to sub for that person.
Oh, so she's only allowed to sub for Holly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Sorry. Any more discussion? You did roll, please.
Mrs. Leskowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Bella,
Yes.
Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson.
Yes.
All right, now we got business recommendations.
Oh, I guess I'll hold back. I'm not used to that. All right, the first one's appointment of the public records training designee. Unless all of you are just dying to lose 3 hours of your life. There is a treasurers conference coming up, which I think if you go in the first day early, and I'm planning on being the treasurers conference this year, so I don't want to take a hit for the team there. And that's what that particular motion does for you. You have an 8th grade trip to Washington DC overnight, so you have some file attachments there.
Pardon me?
I'm just asking, do you usually handle the overnight trips or?
That's fine. Yeah, I usually, yeah, 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 we've got the DC trip. It's just standard operating procedure. They're gonna stay overnight. We want them to approve, so they fall into the school guidelines. And then the OHSAA board resolution. I know Rachel, we talked a little bit about that. You know, they've updated their policy, but that's back on. That's just a standard form everybody gets. And then we've got our Chromebook purchase. And I remember when Jason was here, how many months ago was that? You gave an overview of the tech department.
Probably
4 months ago. He'd given a sequence and replacement series and cycles and things like that. So he went out and got his, did his due diligence, got the quotes. And so that's why that purchase for Chromebooks is on there for tonight. I mean, I kind of look at technology like buses. You got to put them in a rotation and keep them updated. So. And that's it.
Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda for business items? Don, is you?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just had a question about in the Chromebook purchase, it said there were 5 quotes. But it didn't have the breakout of those, and I know that you said there were some, it was a little this, there's some more cases, there's licensing, Chrome devices.
So I can give you the breakdown of, so K-12 tech repairs, that's one we went with. That was 99,400.
Yeah.
MNJ was $101,610. Or
You can
the
go ahead.
price.
We see that. I just wondered what within those each item cost. Like how much did
How much is Chromebooks and how much is
Okay.
repairs and licensing?
and the new cases?
Okay, so I can,
Or just for the one that you're recommending, if you could share that.
okay, I was gonna say, this will take a while.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was looking, I thought maybe I missed an attachment, but, if you've got in there, if you could just share with us, so if they're the one you're recommending. that'd be
All
great.
right, so yeah, the one we're recommending is, it's got the Lenovo's 100E Chromebook generation, 11.6-inch screen, MediaTek, 4 GB RAM, 32 GB eMMC. If you want to know what that means, you have to ask Jason. Now it's getting technical. And a Google Chrome license. Also got, so that is quantity of that's 200. So it's 200 Chromebooks. And then you've got Lenovo Chromebook Generation 4, 4 GB, 32 GB English Google Chrome license fitted max case for Lenovo's, and 100E Generation 4 Chromebook, and that's 200 of those. That first batch, that first bundle, what came to 47,900, second bundle came to 51,500. So, case discounted with the purchase of protection. So that's the breakdown of those.
Oh, I was gonna ask, does the 200 include the overage that you always include, for the, extras, whatever? Yeah.
Yes, which we're we're starting to get to the tipping point where we're gonna have to up it a little bit more. Since a lot of the classes in the elementary are now running. I was always estimating for 180, and now we're pushing 210. Because we're having 7 teachers in more grades there. So we're starting to get to that tipping point where we're gonna have to up it a little bit more. But we're not there yet, but in the next couple of years, probably.
How many of those 200 are for the young 5 and kindergarten?
None this year. This year is for 4th grade, remind me, 4th grade and freshman. The young 5s in the 1st grade got new devices 2 years ago. Yes,
Okay, because that was mentioned in the purchase here.
Do we try to keep every 3 years?
8.
It says coverage
Eight.
for the kindergarten and new young 5s program. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, it's just like the explanation in there that we're just keeping everything covered.
I would really like to see those younger grades move away from the Chromebooks and back to
They are tablets. They're
any
touchscreen
device.
tablets. Yeah.
Any device. I think they get plenty of that at home, and get back to standard learning. I understand that they're needed for testing, but we shouldn't be doing all that testing on the kindergartens and young 5, so.
I was gonna ask if, once we get our it would have been nice if we'd had time to have a couple of our technology department meetings ahead of time to review a little deeper. Then that group can bring it here and we don't have to ask you all those questions. You know, we can share that information here, but, especially if we're gonna, have these purchases every year annually,
Mhm.
it's good to, that's one of the purposes of our technology department, but hopefully we'll get that going soon, but that would be something we definitely want to make sure that we have covered as we bring these forward from now on.
Yeah, I think a segue into that now is a good point. I think, we put these policy committees and these other committees together, right? Because they didn't exist. And it's a way for you all to have a say and understand what and why. And then when you get here, then you know why, we do what we do or recommend what we do. I think we're farther ahead this point of the year than we were last year. And I think now that we've got them established and it's been a very busy spring. Things will hopefully slow down a bit, but like I said, I think moving forward, we've got those committees in place and I think, we can start to hammer those out and have our meetings. So I think they're good moving
We
forward.
did come in $6,000 less this year than last year. Last year, it was at 105,984, and this year at 99,4. So I was surprised at that, but it went down.
Jason beat him up on the quotes. Good job, Jason.
Same company.
Yep.
So,
Thank
well
you.
done.
Is that guy you had the headlock the other day? I saw?
Yeah, you didn't see that.
Anything else? Any more discussion?
Mrs. Leslie,
Yes.
Mrs. Butler,
Yes,
Mrs. Donahue,
yes.
Mr. B,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, now we have our BOE. It gets quicker and quicker.
We did a good job.
Go guys, hey, it's daylight, whoa, I'm not coming out here too pit. I left those at home this time. Well, it's been a busy spring, as Mr. Nutter said. We're hit the ground running, ramping up for that good old state testing. A lot of this, your comment about the K-5s in kindergarten,
You just understand there are state regulations on how we test and what we have to test, so some of that falls into that. And there's programs we have to use, so it is mandated. They're not on them all the time, so, you know, that's a good thing. It's just like even our upper grades, you know, we do some projects, there is some learning that does occur, and unfortunately, we gotta remember, we are in a digital world now. And we don't put them on there just for fun. We're on there for educational purposes, and a lot of your programs, even your platforms, even your curriculums are all going to virtual digital world. So it's the manner of the beast, and unfortunately, you know, whether we like it or not, that's just the way it's going. You know, it's just like our state testing, April, we've got, I don't know what, 4 weeks packed of state testing. And unfortunately, that includes monitoring testing and state testing, and some grade levels are doing almost 20 days of testing, unfortunately, but that's a state mandate. So we have to meet those guidelines, and it's challenging for our students, not fair to our students, not fair to the staff. We all know that. So I say contact your legislators. Well, on a positive note, we had ACT for juniors, right? That's been completed. So the state does reimburse us for some of those costs, so that's great. We appreciate all of our teachers finishing up SOR science and reading training. We honestly have about 2 teachers that have finished it. So that's phenomenal with all the guidelines and everything going on. So we'll be working with them to get that finished. We're looking forward to next year, a lot of meetings that'll be happening and looking forward to. But we did survive the full moon last Thursday and Friday. Trust me, we do see a change in behavior. But we survive it every time. We're all going, is it a full moon? You know, you can always ramp it up and tell. But we appreciate everything and all you're doing, and just keep moving forward. Any questions, feel free to ask us. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We done meeting today?
Yeah, as soon as they say adjourned, I don't want to see you till Wednesday.
Got it, okay. See,
Sounds like you can call her though.
well, we talk, yeah. This is our 3rd meeting we've been in together today.
Alright, committee report. So, where are we at with the CPC? Is there anything that?
Yeah, I have report. I did want to announce, for the month of February, we had 2 students, two students that we want to recognize. Adam Shakarov is the Health and Consumer Sciences, one of the 2 student of the month, and in pre-nursing, Adam was recognized at Miami Valley Hospital by a patient's family. And so he was given the Everyday Hero Award. So congratulations to him. And then an academic student of the month, Caitlin Kay, is an early childhood education program. And she has excelled academically, maintaining 95% or higher in all her classes. And her instructor recognized her for her problem-solving skills, positive attitude, and willingness to help others. And congratulations to those 2. I also wanted to note that prom is April 5th, and it's 8 o'clock at the in their on their campus there, and tickets are $25, can be purchased until 3 p.m. on Friday, April 4th. And then next 2 days, March 18th and 19th, is the Skills USA Championship. So I know the Bethel kids in the past have done very well, so we'll wait to see how that comes out, and I'll report back with some hopefully good news. But that's all I have tonight on that.
Thank you. Thanks. And then you don't do the.
No, I've been in touch with people on the academic committee. We're setting up our first meeting. Yeah. And I'm excited to get that done, and we've touched base with Jason about the tech committee. So my committees are getting ready to meet.
Great segue. Do you want to talk anything else about tech committee?
Yeah, that I contacted. They said that we're gonna have a meeting.
Same with academic.
Yeah, academics too. There's people, so I'm trying to get the schedules all together so we can meet at a time that works for everybody and get started on some things for the district. So
That's good.
Excellent.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, be good.
Yeah.
Policy committee?
Again, same, sent out some, email trying to get availability for folks. Still waiting to hear back from 2 or 3, I think. So, hopefully get that kind of buttoned down and ready to roll. And for the finance committee, I haven't done anything with that because I wanted to talk to our folks here tonight. So we can chat later.
And then on the facilities committee, same thing, know the group and trying to figure out the best time that we can meet ahead of the meetings next month in April. So, look for further communication about that as well, so.
That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, and there's a note, like we talked about permanent improvement. I mean, Bob and Jay and I talked about some of the PI funds and some of those other things I was waiting to get numbers on, so. They're giving me those, so
Okay, thank
it helps.
you. Everything's good. More information, better.
Excellent. Thank you. And that takes us to public participation. We have one, Julie Reese.
Good evening again. So, I just want to say that the last meeting was quite confusing due to things being added and removed from the agenda. I know it's been a while since we had that meeting, but I was kind of lost as to what was in, what was out. I was trying to take notes, but it was very confusing. And then voting to add to add the executive session when it was already on the agenda. I don't know, it was just confusing. And I would contend that most of that chaos was due to the fact that the agenda had not been discussed at a workshop prior to the meeting. Now, last month, it was a very complicated meeting. Tonight went pretty smoothly, but it was pretty routine items. Some of the items removed last month did not come back this meeting. In fact, ones that seemed to need discussion, like the policies and things like that. The one I know brought back to this meeting, which was the OHSAA item, the public did not get to hear the discussion about it, but it seems to have been resolved outside of here. I just think that, once again, discussion should happen in public so that your community can hear about it. So again, please reconsider reinstating the work sessions and including a discussion of the upcoming voting items as part of that work session agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we do have an executive session tonight for number 1 to consider the agreement, the motion or compensation of an employee or official or the investigation of charges. And also for number 4 to discuss preparation for conducting or reviewing negotiations for bargaining sessions with employees. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Oh, Kiplinger.
Second.
Now you're switching up. I already had it done. Look at that.
Any discussion? There may or may not be business at the end of this, I don't know, so I just like to say that there may not be. Anything else? We can go, please.
Mrs. Nusswood,
Yes.
Mrs. Dudley,
Yeah.
Mrs. Donahue, Mrs. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. B,
Yes.
and Mrs. Kiss.
Yes.
We're going to conference room.
Are we leaving stuff here then? Doesn't matter.
6:49.
You can't. I'm bringing mine with me.
It's quitting that.
I'm bringing my stuff with me.